percent was always there, and
what does he have?
he has these like weirdo.
Do we have any Allentown video?
Yeah, we just rolled it.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. Okay.
He has like these weirdo like. Really
I forgot I did see this today. I do love a good good photography. Oh, I do love good pottery.
Yeah, there was a woman who was working on the wheel too. It was pretty cool.
Come on. You know, I took pottery in college, and you know they'd never let me use the wheel. They told me I took like a step up class, just like the tiniest little step up. It was beginners for pottery beginners, and then they said that the wheel was only for the advanced group.
Anita, do you know what I'm talking about here? Like Anita, those chairs.
Look at this picture. That's wild.
That is pretty cool.
Looks just like her. That's cool.
Anyway, it was a great day to be out there. I got a little color though.
Love.
But for, I mean, what it could have been, it really wasn't that bad.
I told Ed I had a really funny experience. I think, was it Saturday or Sunday? I can't remember which day. And I was walking Sunday, and I was walking the dog, and we were walking down the street, and this woman, she was probably like half a block away from me, and she was walking her dog with somebody else, and she goes, "Hi, Bandit." And then she goes, "Hi, Bandit's mom." And I was like, I don't know her.
Isn't it so funny that you're just Bandit's mom?
Yeah. And so if it was a copy, I don't know her. But it was funny because that's how Paul met Jeanette. So I was like, maybe it was a copy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was pretty funny.
No, it was a great weekend to be out there.
Looks like a lot of people are out and about doing stuff too, which is really nice.
You know, the one thing that we have to also touch on this morning, this is kind of some sad news.
So sad.
This little boy in Hamburg killed after police say a drunk driver rear-ended the car that he was in. 8 years old. And this poor baby. I mean, you think about such a young life tragically taken, and by a drunk driver, allegedly, you know, it is just gut-wrenching. And you just feel for this family, because there was another young boy, a young child, I think it was a 4-year-old, also in the car, taken to the hospital. They're doing okay.
Yeah. So this person who apparently hit their car ran away. They found this person hiding in a nearby backyard. He's charged with DWI, first-degree manslaughter, second-degree vehicular manslaughter, unlicensed operation of a motor vehicle, leaving the scene. Like,
yeah. I mean, he took off is what police say.
Yeah. And
that just makes my heart break even more. Like, because...
Well, this is a family that'll never be the same.
Exactly. So now there's a GoFundMe available for Western New Yorkers to really step up and help this family.
You know, and here, look at this. So we kind of been looking at it through the morning. It's raised another, just in the course of this morning, $5,000.
So Jenna, our producer who's here with us this morning, can drop a link to this story in the comments here. So if you're interested in helping this family and contributing to this GoFundMe, you can do so online.
Howard, let me answer this. So this person who allegedly hit this car that had the kids in it, hit them from the back, and then it was the person who rear-ended that ran away, not the driver of the car with the children.
But you know, in this, like when you have young children in your family, like you kind of put them in this situation. So I'm like, oh my gosh, my little niece, my Alana turns 8 in June.
Well, I mean,
this month.
Just look at this little boy's face.
I know.
You know, you don't even have to have a kid in your family to take a look at that little innocent face and think, this is a really, really tragic thing to happen.
So sad. So Jenna just posted the link here for Tommy Ross in the comments here. So if you can, I know, what is wrong with people? It's, look, you know, how many times do you have a drink or two and you're kind of like, I'm fine, and get behind the wheel and you drive home? And this is like maybe a wake-up call for a lot of people. And it's an unfortunate wake-up call and should never have happened.
Well, you know what? An Uber exists for a reason.
And that's what Felice is saying.
Call an Uber, call a Lyft, call a friend. You know, this is just really sad.
Connie said, I also heard another drunk driver hit a house and ran away too. That was up in Lockport. That happened over the weekend as well. That person has also since been arrested and charged. So you just keep this family in your prayers and in your thoughts as they navigate such a tough time. We've got Adam Campos down at the Blaisdell Elementary School as grief counselors are available. And you know what? Like, especially at the end of the school year, it's so sad.
I can't even imagine what this family's going through. Just your heart just breaks for them. Let's talk about this really quick. We've got a number of topics here, and we've got a number of good ones today for you guys. If you're a parent or a grandparent and you buy a swimsuit for a kid, does it cross your mind? Because I really feel like until someone started talking about this only a couple years ago, we didn't think too much about this. The color of the swimsuit. So our producer Jen is going to pull this up. Take a look at the ways different color swimsuits look underwater, and it comes up in a minute in this video. And then what people are saying is a blue colored swimsuit can really be tough should a child end up, and maybe if we pause it here, Jenna, should a child end up under the water? So what you're seeing on top is kind of like a shot more of the kid higher up, and then look at as the water's over them, right, is below. And look at how the blue, especially down this bottom left here, is really hard to see.
The light blue.
And
So
the bottom right.
They're saying reds, oranges, bright colors. Something that's not blue would be really beneficial so that you as a parent, a caregiver, whomever, a lifeguard.
Even the green can be a little tough to see. Yeah, I like the orange. The pink really stands out, huh?
Right.
So like bright color, that's something you would just never really think about until you see something like this.
And I wonder if that's why they make such bright colored bathing suits. Like I'm thinking like I've got this like neon green one. Alina says, I never gave it a thought until these studies came out. I know.
Yeah, I guess neither did I. And I was a lifeguard. So look at the white is the bottom right-hand corner. It is really hard to see. If we drop, look at that.
Yeah.
You can hardly see it.
Felice says, I have a BS in textiles. And I think about this bright orange and red for little ones.
Interesting.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, it's funny because they make boys blue. You know what I mean? All the time. That you find so much stuff that's blue for boys. So maybe I think go for the orange, go for the red.
Sometimes boys like pink too.
Yeah, go for it if you can find it. Like probably harder to find because it makes so many things like that. But I just think that's a good one to just keep in mind.
Okay, how about this? Speaking of kids, anybody who has adopted before in the past would know this perhaps better than anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
How adoption really is such a benefit to completing a family.
Sure.
But nowadays there are older children. See, Vincenzo loves pink. Exactly. Older children are up for adoption just as much as younger children, but the need for older children is so much greater.
So I did a story, and right now you can find it online, and Jenna can share the link in the comments too. So there is so I did a story. Do you remember? It was maybe 3 months ago. I introduced you to a couple, and they adopted 5 kids, okay? 5 brothers and sisters. So when I did that story and it aired, got a lot of feedback about it, and one of the people who called me was from the agency. And they said, listen, this is a huge need.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't realize how many older kids need to be adopted. And we're talking kids, for the most part, they said 8 and older. And the saddest thing Ed and I were talking about is the one soundbite from the executive director. He said, listen, kids age out of the foster system at 18 or 21, depending on what state they live in. And so many of these kids are counting down, and not in a good way.
Right, because what they're doing, they're counting down until they age out of the system. And so where do they go for the holidays? Where do they go for birthdays?
They're counting down to see if they'll get a family before they age out.
Right. Isn't that so sad?
It is. And right now he told me the need for this older child adoption is 2 football fields full of children, 115,000 kids. He said, but put it in perspective, something we recognize.
No.
2 football fields.
Can I just ask, is that just for like Western New York? Is that Erie County?
Across the country.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Across the country, that many kids. And these are the kids who are older children whose parental rights have been terminated. So these kids have been freed for adoption. Mm-hmm. So they are available right now.
Yeah, Anita brings up a great point. The Western New York Foster Closet. Remember, we were there a couple of weeks ago showing off how they, really need some help seasonally, especially with all clothes for older, younger children.
So Mary brings something up interesting or something interesting up. And this is something the executive director and I talked about. So he said, he's like, I want people to know you can be older and adopt children who are older. He's like, we're not talking the diaper phase anymore. We're not talking little kids. We're talking there are 20-year-olds.
Wow.
17, 18, 19, 20. They age out at 21 in some states. So he's like, we're talking people in their 50s, their 60s are adopting these kids because that's bringing them into a family.
Sarah, then they have no one. Imagine being out on their own to find a home and pay bills and work all alone without any guidance your whole childhood. I know. it's hard to kind of think about that, wrap your head around it. James, good morning. When my friends adopted their son, the first few years were challenging because of the trauma that child experienced. Right. There's like an unraveling here.
I will say the one thing that they did tell me too, and I think that's acknowledged, right? I think that they're pretty open about like a lot of kids have been through a lot of things, but they did say, the executive director said, we have as much support as we possibly can for families and for kids. Like it's mostly for it's for the families, but like the goal, right, of everybody is to make the kids feel okay.
So Jenna included a link here in the comments, so you can check Katie's story out there. As we're kind of on the topic of children, social media is a huge deal. And how many of your kids have cell phones walking around with one of these in front of their faces every single day? The state could possibly change the way children are using social media and scrolling through TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat, because A, it's not necessarily the best for their mental health, but B, it's because these social media sites or websites are collecting data from your kids without any sort of permission. So now the state has the option to sign a bill into law that would limit how much interaction these companies have with your children.
Felice.
Well, Felice, jump on it. I mean, I'd love to. We want to hear your thoughts.
We want to get you started. Yeah. What do you think? It's really right. So like Ed's saying, we're talking not only data collection,
right,
but another part of this bill, or a separate bill, would also enable parents to kind of put a stop on those notifications that kids get. Because we know even if your cell phone's sitting there, boom, it lights up, somebody goes to grab it, right?
So this would allow parents to set limits on their kids' use of digital platforms at certain times of the day and control app notifications that can actually hook a user, to your point, where you're like, oh my gosh, my phone's lighting up, what's going on?
Right, even if you've got it to the side, right, you could see kids are so easily distracted.
And then this would also restrict your child's access to certain social media feeds and stop websites from collecting and sharing data for your kids without your permission. So Felice, just kind of circling back, she said, don't get me started. Well, here we go. I took the phone away from him yesterday, and we did the alphabet and numbers on his chalkboard wall in his bedroom.
She's mentioning he's 3, just turned 3.
Wow.
Knows how to do so much on the phone.
And that's, I mean, like, they're using tablets and cell phones. This is the generation where they know nothing else.
Yeah, one of a little kid that I was with one time, this is like years ago now, like when we were still kind of honestly learning this technology too, because like we didn't grow up with it, right? So I like was showing a picture on my phone, and this baby was like 2. She goes boop boop and like zoomed it in, and I was like, whoa! I didn't know you knew. She had the double click down.
Felice says he can navigate the phone like a pro, and yeah, James is right here, but Jason says my nephews have tablets with only educational games. Big Brother is watching. I mean, like, there's nothing that isn't monitored nowadays, whether it's through, cookies or algorithms or whatever it is. Like, somebody somewhere is doing something to get to you.
Kelsey said, when my kids do end up getting phones many, many years from now, I'll be checking everything. I'll have parental apps. I'll have access to everything. And the good thing, Kelsey, is like in your picture there, you can see your kids are younger right now.
Oh yeah, they're babies.
So here's the thing,
Nora
though.
Just turned 2.
We're lucky, Kelsey, Ed, that we are in this generation where we have an idea, like the people, like maybe parents a little bit older than us, right, who were learning this stuff as their kids were learning it. Like sometimes their kids picked up stuff even faster. It's crazy.
This is kind of interesting too from Lauren. Everyone wants kids to be off electronics, but the first thing they do in school is hands on a tablet. They hand them a tablet to do work on. So it's almost becoming part of the vernacular, right?
Yeah.
So in other words, we want them to like put the phone down and do things at home that are, so simple and rudimentary.
Yeah.
But in school, they're being handed one of these and says, okay, here, go. Like now it's incorporated into lessons.
Kathy echoing that schools use pretty much everything on their tablets, no more writing and everything. Even book reports are printed out. Parents and grandparents, have your kids has cursive been totally dropped? Do you still learn cursive in schools? I was never very good at it. But
I love cursive. I'm like a print cursive kind of guy.
Yeah, too. I got a half and half. I feel like we started printing because we had to take notes
fast
in court in different places really quickly. But some people have such beautiful writing. Your mom has pretty writing.
Oh my gosh, she has gorgeous handwriting. Shirley says when our grandkids were younger, our daughter took their tablets and phones away at a certain time at night, and she was able to check them. Like I know Alana has a tablet, and I'm pretty sure it goes off at like 6 o'clock at night, a certain point at night.
Time to wind down.
Exactly. And then you know what? She's also got a cell phone, but it's not one of these. It's like a flip phone, but you know, these didn't come out until 2007. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
we didn't have this
Mm-mm.
in high school. And if we did, it was like just becoming a thing.
I had that Nokia phone.
The picture phone, I know exactly what you're talking about.
No.
Oh.
The brick.
Oh, yes, exactly. I
It's
know.
like it was literally
And
like a
it
brick.
snake on it.
That's all you played.
And you could change the face plates.
I remember the first time I got a text message, I was like, what is this?
My mom is going to kill me because it cost 10 cents.
Yeah, it was like 25 cents.
Right.
And you're like, oh my God.
But now it's just so normal. Like, you don't even think twice about
People
it.
don't like picking up the phone now. Like,
Which
people
also blows my
don't
mind.
like calling. Kids have a hard time knowing about like landlines, right? Because nobody has landlines. And like if I call Ed, Ed's picking up. But like remember when I used to call Ed and it was probably Ed's mom or dad picking up and I'd have to be like, hi, this is Katie calling. May I please speak
Hi,
to Ed?
Janet. It's Katie. Can I talk to Ed?
That's what we always have. We used to have to say, introduce yourself, and then you have to say, may I please speak to this person?
Oh, that's so funny.
Hi, hello, this is Katie calling. May I please speak to Ed?
When I would call my best friend Nina,
Yeah, Nina.
I would talk to her mom. I still have her mom's phone in my phone book. Janine, hi Janine. She'd go, hi Ed. You know, like you just have that relationship with some of your
Yeah.
parents.
So my
friends'
best friend
parents.
had there were 4 daughters in her family. So they ended up getting a second line because the 4 daughters were always on the phone.
I'm sure of it. Okay.
We'd all fight over the phone.
Read this one. Felice. Uh-oh. Are you guys still seeing us? Jenna, can you check that feed? Anyway, Felice says, our daughters called my in-laws and they said, what's that noise? And it was a busy signal.
You still get a busy signal though sometimes, don't you?
Not if you're calling on one of these. It just rings or goes to voicemail.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've called before and gotten a busy signal.
Well, if you're calling somebody's cell phone, and how
Mhm.
many people are actually calling
It just
landlines?
goes directly to. You
Right.
know what I'm thinking about? Like when you call and order food,
Sure.
and you get a busy signal.
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, whoa.
Okay,
whoa.
we're back, everyone. There you go. Kathy, we try to push writing in a lesson every day for my kiddos. Writing should always be taught in every class, no
Mhm.
matter what grade level. I had a landline phone in my first apartment back in 2003. Yeah, I mean, we're talking... things really didn't start to change. Like the Apple iPhone revolutionized.
Did you have a BlackBerry?
Yeah, I had a BlackBerry.
I had a BlackBerry for
I was
work.
BBMing everyone.
Remember, I had a full-on keyboard.
Wait, so you had it for work? I had it for like personal use.
I had a BlackBerry. I kept my flip phone for as long as I could. I really didn't want to transition to the smartphone. I really didn't.
Why?
Because I just I didn't want to be like I am today. Like, because everybody was just like on them so much. I really liked my flip phone. It worked really well. I had no issues with it. I got text messages. That was fine.
T9ing.
I T9'd. I had no issues. And then I probably got the first iPhone. I got it years later. I had a BlackBerry for work. And then
Brittany says, same, Katie. I don't know. I loved my BlackBerry. I just thought it was so cool. The internet really wasn't that great on it, though. That was the only thing. Now BlackBerry is like a totally extinct brand.
And that, like, really, they were the first. Well, and then remember, all the government agencies were using them
Yeah.
too. That's why my
it
old
was
station,
secure.
my old station had them because they were more secure.
Yeah.
That's why we had them. Yeah.
Lisa says, my husband has a flip phone. What kind of flip phone is it? Is it like a old-fashioned like Motorola like we had?
We have a friend who still has a flip phone, just has not wanted to transition.
Really?
Mhm.
I used to love my flip phone. You just flip it open, and then when you're really angry, you slam it shut.
Did you ever though have one that started to like go and you had to like
Oh yeah.
you're
You have
like
to be
trying to
real
hold it
gentle.
together? Yeah, it's a little string. Oh, I got a hair.
Shonda says I have the original iPhone somewhere in a box. It's white.
Mm-hmm.
When it rang, the sides would light up rainbow colors. That's kind of cool.
Barb had an awesome flip phone, took great pictures and videos. Anita got a new phone last week. She's still learning it. Jeanette having a landline into the wall saved me during a
Yes.
Buffalo storm. Mm-hmm.
That's like you and Howard, I think, so that was the only thing that worked during those outages.
Do you know? So my mom just took that emergency course that Erie County's offering,
Mhm.
where you get the backpacks. You know, they're offering them all over the place. One thing that you learn there is even if you don't have your landline still connected, as long as you have the phone jack, if you keep an old phone, you can plug it into the jack and you should be able to call 911.
Wow, how do you like that?
Like you can't make an outgoing call to you,
Sure.
but you should be able to call 911, they told her.
Smart thinking.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's great. Listen, we got to get the show on the road here. Thanks so much for being with us on a Monday. We're back tomorrow for Tuesday. Have a great day, everyone.
We'll be here.